Energy from the air. Tesla was right. At the beginning of 2024, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration presented the results of an experiment that changed our representation of the structure of space. Researchers recorded a stable transmission of low-frequency oscillations through the ionosphere, which exactly repeats the algorithms described in Nikola Tesla's patent applications at the turn of the century. These recent evidences reveal the amazing accuracy of calculations that were previously considered only a figment of the imagination of a brilliant engineer. We stand on the threshold of a new era where the architecture of hidden systems of the past becomes the foundation for the technologies of the future. The old paradigms of classical physics, by which we were guided throughout the entire 20th century, are beginning to burst at the seams under the pressure of new data. Modern academic institutions are increasingly turning to documents from the year 1900, discovering in them answers to the challenges of modernity. We are used to thinking that electricity must be limited by wires and meters, but scientific debates continue around the possibility of using the planet itself as a single energy node. This is not just a question of technology, it is a question of our understanding of the laws of nature, which Nikola Tesla began to decipher more than 120 years ago. Scientific debates continue around the patent under number 645,576, which describes an apparatus for the transmission of electrical energy. In documents from the year 1900, Tesla claimed that the Earth could act as a giant conductor capable of resonating at certain frequencies. Representatives of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology in their recent study of 2025 confirmed that the concept of magnetic resonance is the key to wireless energy transmission over short and medium distances. However, the question of the global scale of this system remains open, causing heated disputes in academic circles around the world. In the center of this investigation stands the Wardenclyffe Tower, which rose 187 feet, 57 meters, above the ground of Long Island. Nikola Tesla designed it not just as a radio tower, but as a transmitter capable of directing energy to any point on the globe. Recent evidence reveals that the depth of the tower's foundation reached 120 feet, 37 meters, where complex grounding systems were located. Researchers from Stanford University in 2026 suggested that such a construction was necessary to establish resonant contact with the planet's lithosphere. There are two main scientific hypotheses trying to explain the principles of Tesla's system from the point of view of modern physics. The first hypothesis, supported by specialists from the Oak Ridge National Laboratory, states that Tesla used the effect of standing waves in the cavity between the Earth's surface and the ionosphere. The second hypothesis, put forward by physicists from Harvard University, suggests that the transmission of energy was carried out through longitudinal waves in the Earth's crust itself. Both groups of scientists agree on one thing: Tesla's mathematical models were flawless, even if the technologies of that time did not allow them to be realized in full measure. Unresolved questions remain also in the field of patent number 649621, concerning an apparatus for the transmission of electrical energy through natural media. In 2024, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration recorded strange spikes of conductivity in the stratosphere, which cannot be explained by solar activity. Some experts believe that these are natural manifestations of the mechanisms that Tesla planned to use for illuminating the oceans and providing energy to remote settlements without using a single foot of wires. Modern systems of wireless charging, which we use for smartphones, are only a tiny reflection of Tesla's grandiose design. In 2025, startups from Silicon Valley, collaborating with the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, demonstrated the transmission of power over a distance of 30 miles, 48 kilometers, without visible losses. This experiment revived interest in the patent for a method of signaling, where Tesla described the use of high frequencies to create energy corridors in rarefied air. We're beginning to understand that the space surrounding us is not a vacuum, it is filled with potential that is waiting for its hour. Special attention should be given to the resonant transformer, better known as the Tesla coil, the drawings of which were finally formalized in the year 1900. This device is capable of creating voltages of millions of volts, generating discharges tens of feet, several meters long. Recent research in the field of plasma physics shows that such high-frequency fields can be used for creating protective shields or new systems of space engines. Specialists from the Smithsonian Institution in 2026 published archival records indicating that Tesla experimented with a form of energy that he called radiant. Radiant energy remains one of the most mysterious chapters in the inventor's legacy, causing endless discussions among modern physicists. In his notes, Tesla described particles that move faster than light and possess enormous penetrating power, which for a long time was considered impossible. However, the latest data from the neutrino detector in Antarctica indicate the existence of high-energy processes that, in a surprising way, coincide with Tesla's predictions.
Recent evidence reveals that his patents from the year 1900 contain hints at the use of cosmic radiation as a constant power source. The architecture of hidden systems created by Tesla implied not only the transmission of energy, but also the global synchronization of information. His project of the World Wireless System, presented in the year 1900, anticipated the appearance of the Internet and mobile communication by decades. Tesla described a device the size of a pocket watch that would allow a person to receive news and music from any point on the planet. Today, when we look at our smartphones, we see the realization of his patents, although the mechanisms of data transmission have become much more complex and less effective than what he proposed. Scientific debates continue also in the question of the influence of high-frequency fields on biological objects. Tesla was convinced that certain frequencies could have a healing effect on the human body, stimulating regeneration processes. In 2024, medical centers affiliated with Johns Hopkins University began testing methods of resonance therapy based on Tesla's patents on electromedicine. These studies show encouraging results in the treatment of chronic diseases, which again confirms the multifaceted nature of his genius. Many wonder why these technologies were not implemented everywhere as early as the last century. The answer lies not in technical difficulties, but in the economic model of that time, which required strict accounting of consumed resources. Tesla's system implied the accessibility of energy for everyone, which fundamentally contradicted the interests of large industrial magnates of the beginning of the 20th century. Recent evidence reveals details of Tesla's correspondence with his investors, where he directly stated his desire to give the world free energy extracted from the very structure of space. Today, the situation is beginning to change under the pressure of the ecological crisis and the depletion of natural resources. The governments of the leading countries of the world in 2026 began to allocate billions of dollars for research in the field of alternative energy. Projects of orbital solar power stations, which will transmit energy to Earth with the help of microwave beams, directly rely on Tesla's patents from the year 1900. We are returning to the origins to find a way forward, using knowledge that was unfairly forgotten or underestimated. It is interesting to note that many modern engineers find in Tesla's drawings solutions for problems of quantum entanglement and teleportation of information. In 2025, a group of physicists from the California Institute of Technology discovered that the geometry of Tesla coils is ideally suited for creating stable magnetic traps necessary for quantum computers. This discovery emphasizes that Nikola Tesla possessed an intuitive understanding of the topology of space, which we are only beginning to master with the help of the most complex mathematical apparatus. Unresolved questions concern also his works in the field of weather control, which he linked with the ionization of the upper layers of the atmosphere. In patents from the year 1900, the possibility of creating artificial clouds and controlling precipitation with the help of powerful electrical discharges is mentioned. Modern systems of influence on the ionosphere, located in Alaska and other regions of the world, cause many disputes, but their technological continuity from Tesla's ideas is obvious for any researcher. We must ask ourselves how far we have progressed in the understanding of these processes and to what consequences their uncontrolled use may lead. It is important to understand that Tesla's legacy is not a set of ready-made recipes, but an entire philosophy of interaction with the world.
He saw in nature a living organism, permeated by invisible connections, and strives to tune human technologies in resonance with this organism. His patents from the year 1900 were an attempt to create a symbiosis between industry and the planet, where energy is taken not from destruction of matter, but from the harmony of oscillations. Recent evidence reveals that precisely this approach is becoming key in the development of sustainable technologies of the future. When we analyze modern unmanned aerial vehicles, we rarely remember Tesla's patent of 1900 for an apparatus for aerial navigation. In it, he described a flying machine that has no wings and propellers, but is set in motion by electrical forces. In 2026, the concepts of ion engines and electrodynamic levitation ceased to be fiction, and leading aviation corporations began testing prototypes working on these principles. Tesla foresaw a world where transport would be silent and environmentally clean, feeding on energy directly from the air. In conclusion of our investigation, it is worth emphasizing that the true meaning of Tesla's patents from the year 1900 is only beginning to be revealed before us. We live in an era of intellectual autonomy, when each of us has access to archives and the opportunity to independently analyze facts. Science is not a frozen code of rules, but a constant search for truth, which requires the courage to subject established dogmas to doubt. Nikola Tesla left us the keys to doors that we are only now beginning to open, and what we discover behind them depends on our readiness to accept a new reality. I call upon each of you not to stop at what has been achieved and to continue your own investigation of the hidden systems of our world. We are surrounded by riddles, the answers to which can be found in dusty drawings of a century ago if one looks at them from the right angle.